This is Death Valley in the northeastern section of Southern California, where at a lonely spot known as Badwater, we behold the lowest and highest points in the United States. Badwater being 280 feet below sea level, while the Sierra Nevada mountains rise to a height of about 14,500 feet above the level of the sea. So many pioneers lost their lives while passing through this hot and dreary waste that one of the weary survivors looked back on the seething cauldron through which he had just passed and said, "Farewell to Death Valley," unwittingly giving this spectacular region the name that it bears today. From Badwater to Furnace Creek, we travel over a road called the Artist's Drive, and as we ride along in a comfortable automobile, we reflect upon the hardships of the pioneers who passed this way about a century ago, en route to the gold fields of California, deprived of roads, food, water, or any of the modern conveniences that favor us today. But the alluring mirages that once drove madness into the minds of men have since taken literal form in Death Valley, and one of these is the Furnace Creek Inn, one of the most remarkable hostelries ever built upon the burning wastes of the desert. Here in this formerly barren region, hidden springs have been discovered and effectively utilized by man, transforming the sands of the desert into a virtual garden of Allah. From the beginning of November to the end of April, the dry, warm climate, averaging about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, has become an alluring feature for vacationists. The average rainfall seldom exceeds 2 inches a year, and it is a common occurrence for 7 or 8 months to pass without a drop of rain. This swimming pool is another comforting example of the miracles wrought by man in Death Valley. This is the little village of Ryan, made famous by the borax mines, which supported it until recent times. The hills behind this unique village still contain quantities of borax, but changing conditions have made it more practical to mine this valuable mineral in other regions nearby. Ryan, however, still survives as a vacation resort, as well as an attraction for curious travelers interested in exploration possibilities. The little narrow-gauge railway that was formerly used to transport borax from the mines now serves as a scenic railway for sightseers. For about 7 miles, this little train winds around the rim of the canyon, revealing vistas of abandoned mines, as well as thrilling scenes of Death Valley. According to geologists, millions of years ago, Death Valley was an immense sea of water, and as it receded through the ages, its chemical deposits became the basis of the borax found here today. More romantically associated with borax mining were the famous 20-mule teams, one of the wagon trains of which still stands near the spot where the tired and dusty mules were finally unhitched. In the hectic early days of borax mining, an attempt was made to replace the 20-mule teams with wood and coal-burning steam engines, such as we see here, but the idea was not successful. And now we come to what may be considered the most spectacular man-made wonder in Death Valley, Scotty's Castle, a $2 million structure standing in solitary grandeur on a plateau 3,000 feet above the level of the sea. The story of this castle is like a tale from the Arabian Nights, for it symbolizes a bond of friendship between 2 unusual men, Walter Scott, popularly known as Scotty, and his partner, Albert Johnson, a Chicago financier who provided the funds to build this castle, as well as to finance the spectacular exploits of Death Valley Scotty. Mr. Johnson came to Death Valley in 1904, a sick man, and he attributed the restoration of his health to the assistance which he received from Scotty, the reward for which was this sumptuous castle. And it is here that we have the pleasure of meeting one of America's most colorful characters, Death Valley Scotty. Born in Kentucky about 72 years ago, he traveled into Death Valley as a young boy and has been the dominating personality of this region ever since. A dead shot and a good rider, Scotty was Buffalo Bill's star performer in Wild West shows for 12 seasons. The relationship between Scotty and his partner, Albert Johnson, has been a long and enduring one, although if we search the whole world over, we doubt that we could bring together two more widely different personalities. Mr. Johnson is a modest man with strong religious convictions, while Scotty is a down-to-earth realist, famous for his escapades, one of the most outstanding of which was Scotty's famous ride in 1905, when he chartered a special train to take him from Los Angeles to Chicago. The trip was made in 45 hours, establishing a speed record that was only broken in recent years by the modern streamliners. Aside from their different personalities, however, Scotty and Johnson are congenial hosts, and they have entertained some of the world's most distinguished people, as well as thousands of tourists who have traveled vast distances just to meet these extraordinary men and visit their famous castle. Even more elaborate plans were made for this unique edifice, such as an enormous outdoor swimming pool and a tropical garden that would excel the Garden of Allah itself. But for reasons best known to Messrs. Scott and Johnson, all work suddenly stopped a few years ago. The main entrance to the castle is by way of an incompleted gate and drawbridge, through which now pass the two mystery men of Death Valley, Walter Scott and Albert Johnson, out for another adventure among the secret recesses of their mysterious realm. It was once thought that Scotty derived his spectacular wealth from hidden gold mines, which he tapped from time to time, and there are many who still believe it. But we are inclined to think that Scotty's real gold mine has always been his wealthy partner, Albert Johnson. Dante's View, regarded as one of the most spectacular vistas in Death Valley, is an example of the terrain that confronts the gold seekers who would follow in the footsteps of Death Valley Scotty. Temperatures as high as 134 degrees Fahrenheit have been recorded in this inferno of white heat. Although Death Valley has been thoroughly explored by numerous pioneers, none of whom ever reported any startling discoveries of gold, the legend still prevails that Death Valley Scotty holds the key to great deposits of that precious mineral hidden away in the remote regions of Death Valley. And when we think of the half-century or more that he has devoted to exploring these inaccessible and burning terrains, we feel that Scotty is more than entitled to all the gold he may have acquired. Aside from this, however, Albert Johnson and Walter Scott have obviously found something more precious than gold in the peace and quiet of their desolate domain. They have found health, friendship, and trust in each other. And this is the thought that we take with us as we say farewell to Scotty and Johnson, the mystery men of Death Valley.